Hello there folks and welcome back to our Liverpool save on Football Manager 2020. It is part 4 of Season 2 and today we take on Schalke. David Wagner's Schalke, of course the former Huddersfield manager, in our first match since we retained the Champions League back in May with the final against Juventus. And that is followed by an away game, I think I was going for then. An away game against Spurs, of course, at the, what's it called now? It's the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Now, we haven't played any games in between episodes. You might or might not remember because it's been a little bit of a while since episodes, and I'll address that in just a second. We beat Wolves 1-0 at home last time out, but we did lose against Everton. That meant we lost 2 games in a row against Everton and Bournemouth. But after recovering against Wolves to win 1-0, it means the table's a little bit more balanced in the Premier League. 9 points from 15, and it's a very close Premier League. As you can see, Man City have made mistakes as well. They drew with West Ham and lost against Arsenal, and it is the Gunners that lead at the moment. We've a loss, funnily enough, against us actually on the second day. But the only 2 teams that are unbeaten so far, Chelsea and Manchester United, who have got the same amount of points as us, down in 10th. But as I've just said, today we play against Schalke in the first match of the E group in Champions League this year. We've got Schalke first, then Barcelona, and then Celtic. It's going to be a really tough group, so it's really crucial to start this one well. And be interested to see how that game with Celtic and Barcelona goes also. And then we go to Tottenham. And our record against Tottenham isn't too bad. We did beat them 5-1 early on in the save, but unfortunately did lose to them 2-1 when we first played them. And hopefully beating them more recently should stand us in good stead. But for today's game against Schalke, we are going to play this team. It's Alisson in goal. We've Gomez, Van Dijk, Laporte and Robertson at the back. We've got Alexander-Arnold, who picked up a little bit of a niggle. He's got a pulled calf muscle, hence why Joe Gomez is playing there, and it's your normal back 4. Fabinho stands in as defensive midfield. We've got Berge and Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield. Again, we've got Henderson out. Milner's not quite at full fitness, so our midfield's a little bit depleted, but certainly not a bad free to start with in the midfield. And then it's Salah and Shaqiri on the wings. Again, Sadio Mane not quite back to full fitness at the moment. And then, as usual, we've got Bobby Firmino up front with Matip, Omar on the bench as well, Milner, although he's not at full fitness on the bench. Then we've got Origi, Lainez and Balotelli as attacking options on the bench. But Joel Matip really at the moment is just on the bench because Virgil van Dijk and Joe Gomez are the main players who play there. And I just want to apologise before we get into this first game against Schalke that there hasn't been a video for a few days. But you can probably tell in my voice that I've had a big cold. I'm not feeling too well. I'm feeling a little bit rough, but it's been far too long. I haven't played FM personally for nearly a week, and I've really been missing it. So I really wanted to come back, despite the fact I've got a cold. I might have to edit a little bit out when I'm sneezing and coughing and all that sort of thing, but hopefully this should be just fine. But they're playing a 4-2-3-1, similar to us in terms of the fact they've got 2 wide men, but they are playing an attacking midfield, which you'll certainly be interested to see. A few notable names, just recognising Nastatic. I don't know. He did play for Man City. That was the point I was getting at. Former Man City player, but been at Schalke for a long time now. I didn't realise he'd left City that long ago. But in terms of other players, there's not really anybody I recognise there, to be honest. Some of you guys who are more in line with European football, I recognise him. I certainly recognise Farman, who was at Norwich last year. Yeah, he's actually gone to Schalke. He might have gone back to Schalke, I don't know. But this is our first game in the Champions League. We're going to tell the lads to be passionate. And that we expect nothing but a win from this match. Ultimately, it's a massive game against Schalke. Schalke are a big team. Barcelona, obviously, the biggest team in this group. That's inevitable out of the other 3 teams. We have won the Champions League last year, so we have to say we are the favourites to go and win this match and some of the other matches. And funnily enough, Wijnaldum takes an early lead for Barcelona, of course, their new signing. And Chamberlain seems to do the same for us here. A lovely goal from the edge of the box from the advanced playmaker. And we make a very early start to keep tabs, it seems, in Barcelona. As I've said, have took the lead courtesy of our former player, Gini Wijnaldum, away from home at Celtic. And a lovely goal from Oxlade-Chamberlain, lovely composed, a beautiful strike off the underside of the bar, much like Kevin De Bruyne's strike, which made it 2-1 to Man City in today's game against Newcastle. But we have started very well, despite not having much possession. It seems we've had 2 shots. Schalke, no shots on goal so far. We are seem to do very well. It's a lovely pass, by the way, from Fabinho, but Firmino can't quite finish it off. And Firmino was offside, so that doesn't really matter too much. I have made some adjustments to the formation in terms of player instructions, because because of hindsight, having a few days off, I've made some people a little bit more attacking, a little bit more defensive, and I'll probably go into detail with that as we go through games and we have that sort of display of it. That's a lovely ball from Van Dijk to Chamberlain. Chamberlain really being our attacking force so far, and Chamberlain through on goal, pats to Salah, and Salah makes it 2-0. Very, very selfless. That's the word, not selfish. Very selfless from Oxlade-Chamberlain there. Very good stuff to see that he just held the ball up. He got it up to a stage where he was close to the keeper, realised he wasn't going to make anything from it, and really the man who made that was Virgil van Dijk. A lovely pass from the back. And that's why some people have asked, and somebody particularly had asked in the comments, why are they on no-nonsense centre-backs? And that's exactly why. Just get it out. Just get the ball gone and play it up to the strikers. That was a beautiful ball to Oxlade-Chamberlain. Great hold-up play as well from the Ox. Passed it back to Salah, and a lovely goal to make it 2-0 in this game. And a great way to start this episode, it has to be said, on the Champions League campaign. Robertson to Fabinho, and Barcelona are also following suit now, making it 2-0 courtesy of Antoine Griezmann. Brilliant ball from Laporte to Salah. Our centre-backs have been impeccable in making opportunities today, and we are back with a vengeance. Only 20 minutes in, and with this new tactical style of crossing more often, the wing-backs trying to have more of a role, and as you can clearly see, the centre-backs have made 2 of the 3 goals. A beautiful ball from Aymeric Laporte all the way up to Salah, but a good cross from Mo Salah, who scored the second goal, and that is a brilliant strike from the near post from Bobby Firmino, who makes it 3-0 within 20-odd minutes, and this looks to be fairly unassailable, but it's not over till it's over, we should know that. But it seems Schalke have had their first chance. They've had one shot, a bit of a poor shot from Berge there. But, well, it was half decent, I suppose. We can take it being 3-0 up. And the goals are flooding in, which is absolutely fantastic to see. I think some games we go mad with the goals. Some games we just score, but some games we can't get through. And that's what we've got to do more often, I think. We've got to be a little bit more like this and making sure that we get the goals in and that we have that attacking presence at the start of games. So that we're not worrying with 10-15 minutes to go, oh dear, where's our goal going to come from? And then we go more attacking, and of course we're more susceptible to counter-attacks from the other team. But Schalke have got their first attack of the game, it seems, on a highlight, and Rudy puts it in, but not really anybody there. 6 shots now for Schalke, so they've clearly come back into the game short slightly, but only one of those on target, and that's not really going to help in terms of them having a chance of getting anything out of this game. Decent ball from Newbell up to Schroff, but Andy Robertson retrieves that very nicely and runs through, but Andy Robertson gets dispossessed, but it's helped by Berge, our central midfielder. Fabinho looking to make something here. Fabinho, lovely buff to Mo Salah. Mo Salah through on goal! And it is 4-0 to the Reds before half-time. Is this going to be investigated? It just seems like it could be. And it is a clear offside and a no goal. And I don't blame David Wagner for waving his team forward with some urgency. I'm going to see if I can change the camera for this. It doesn't seem like you can. I mean, you can change to 2D Classic, but to be quite honest, for any of these, I don't see the point. I really don't see the point of this, the offside thing, because you can't see. And my eyesight's fairly good, in my opinion. Celtic get one back against Barcelona, courtesy of Lee Griffiths. Interesting. Can Celtic get a surprise draw? That'll be really help us out. But Shaqiri doing really well. Cuts inside, has the shot, and he can only be parried by their goalkeeper. We haven't got another chance here. Oxlade-Chamberlain back out to Gomez. This is lovely flowing football, but unfortunately that's the end of the highlights. But, nonetheless, it is 3-0 at half-time. I'm going to tell the lads not to be complacent. I know that can be a little bit of a demotivator for players sometimes. I'm going to demand more from them, despite 3-0 up. Again, we don't want to demotivate the lads. I'm just going to demand more from them. No, it's not over, and really show our best performance. But it does seem the game is over at... Oh, that's going to be 2 offside goals for Salah. You can guarantee it. Lovely ball from Robertson into Salah. But it looks like that Mo Salah could well have a hat-trick. But 2 of those goals have been offside. And again, this camera's rubbish. I can kind of see Salah down there, but I don't really see the point of it. It could be 5-0 to us. We've put the ball in the back of the net 5 times, but only 3 of those have counted. But still, it doesn't seem like we've had much of an issue defending from Schalke. A little bit of a worry, pardon me, that it seems that all of our back line have got a yellow card each. That's not very encouraging to see with 8 fouls each. We do like to stay on our feet. But we'll have to see how that progresses through the game and through future games. But that's something I'm not particularly happy with at the moment. Fabinho does lose possession to Bergstaller, but Chamberlain gets it straight back through a really poor pass from the Schalke player. And really nice flowing football, just trying to find a way through. And even though we are 3-0 up, we're not going full Mourinho. And we're making sure we can get as many opportunities as we can. And Robertson dispossessed again, but tries again. Puts it into Shaqiri. Shaqiri into the box for Bobby Firmino. And Firmino makes his second goal of the game. He goes to our top scorer with 4 for the season. Salah's on 3, I think. I might think Mane is on 2. I certainly don't want that data analyst view for all of the goals. Goodness me, you really can't see anything. But a brilliant way to start defending our Champions League. Schalke, they're a good side. They've always been a good side from the Bundesliga. And I had the opportunity to do something against us today. But ultimately, we seem to have really not defied the odds as such. But I think in terms of the results, 4-0 is a very, very, very strong result. And it seems that's courtesy of Oxlade-Chamberlain in the midfield and our 2 strikers, Salah and Firmino. And it seems, unfortunately, just because he hasn't scored really, Shaqiri doesn't seem to have offered anything. But there's certainly room to change that. We've got a free kick here, and it's a red card for Schalke. Apparently it didn't look like a foul, the foul that happened there. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to director, because I'm just interested in this. See what that foul was all about. Let's have a look. So, they got it up. Let's have a look. Serdar had the ball, and great stuff from Chamberlain to dispossess. And I think their play was so incensed, basically ran after him. Let's have a look at this. I mean, it wasn't a foul, was it? I don't think it was. Was it just the intent, perhaps, from the player? Could have just been the intent. I'm not quite sure. But even so, they're down to 10 men, Schalke, and we're going to try and really exploit that. Just let the lads push forward. Yeah, demand more from them. That seems to work the most in terms of shouts. But we're going to look to rest some players, I think. We're going to bring Milner on for Sander Berge. We are going to bring off... I think we're going to bring off... we'll bring off Shaqiri just because he's not... I mean, he's got a 7.4, which isn't terrible. We're going to look to rest him. And we're also going to bring Van Dijk off as well for Joel Matip. I know it's a risky one to make a triple substitution with 20 minutes to go, but I'm fairly confident, and it gives the youngster laners a go, as well as two fairly experienced hands, certainly James Milner, an experienced hand, and the fairly experienced hand of Joel Matip at the back as well, and hopefully we can keep a clean sheet. I'm just trying to be greedy, going very attacking, and see if we can get any more out of this Schalke side, because ultimately it's going to be tricky to keep up with Barcelona in this group stage, and sometimes it's a bit of a bad thing to finish second in the group, because, as I was saying, definitely didn't cough there, but lovely ball from Chamberlain into Linus, but not really much offered. But what I was saying, sometimes finishing second could be great, actually, in the groups. Funnily enough, Schalke do have a chance here with their number 9, but Alisson makes a good save. But Matip and Laporte were well beaten, it seems, there, by the pace of their strike. And that's a little bit discouraging, but I'm not too fussed. We've controlled the game, but actually, from that corner, Schalke have made it 4-1. I'm a little bit disappointed in that, given that they are down to 10 men as well. But I mean, we're going to win this game, I'd say, at some ease, so I'm not too bothered about that. We've conceded 1 goal. You can't all be perfect. But if Schalke make it 4-2, for example, here, that would disappoint me quite a bit. I know they've had 60% of possession, but possession really is something that, particularly in this save, we don't really care about, because as long as we get the goals, then other teams can control the game, and it seems we can control them quite nicely. But Schalke are really attacking here and trying to get as many goals as they can, to minimise that defeat. A lovely ball from Gomez up to Linus. Linus, can he make it that 4-goal difference again? Quite a poor quite a poor, I was going to say pass. Don't know what I was going to say pass either. Quite a poor finish, but nevertheless, it was a good second half, and we have won the match 4-1. Barcelona, have they won their match? Looks like they have 3-1. That game's going to finish in a few minutes as well. And Roma beat Real Madrid with Marian Mandzukic getting the goal. Very interesting to see. And Real Madrid lose their first match. Very interesting. Wouldn't expect that against Roma, but Roma are a very good team. But nevertheless, we win that game 4-1. It'd be brilliant if we could do exactly the same against Tottenham, wouldn't it? But a good start to our Champions League campaign. Definitely a very good match from Oxlade-Chamberlain there. A goal and an assist. And I think that from other parts of the game as well, I think that he seemed to play very well as his goal and assist, which gave him a 9 out of 10 rating. Bit of a fitness concern for Fabinho, so we will probably not rest him for the Tottenham game. But there is probably a little bit of room, particularly with the game against Millwall, to rest him. So I'm not too worried about that. But anyway, onwards and upwards, and hopefully we can continue that goal scoring form we had in that game on into the Spurs game in the Premier League. Would you believe it? After a fantastic game against Schalke, the Ox has got a groin strain. He's out for between 3 or 5 weeks, and I'm not interested how he did it, thank you very much. Omar's also got a bruised knee, so might be able to play today. We've got the highest injury list in the league. As you can see, Norwich have got 6 injuries, Chelsea with 5, and our opponents today only with the 1 injury of Serge Aurier. Not a good start for our season in terms of injuries, but to be fair, none of them massive injuries really, just little niggles, but still we have a lot of players ruled out, and that is a real concern. But if you didn't know, we're playing against our old gaffer, Jurgen Klopp. I'm a little bit worried about Klopp, but that being said, his Liverpool form has not really translated to the Tottenham job at all. They lost in their last Premier League game against Norwich away from home, also lost against Watford this year, and they've only recorded 1 win against Brighton by 3-0. That being said, though, they did beat Tottenham Hotspur by they did beat Juventus by 3-2 in the last match. But hopefully we can continue their bad run of form, because we do need 3 points today, definitely. But Tottenham, not a very good start, only 5 points from 5. We want to avoid them getting any more today. But as I've just said, a bit of a problem, the fact that Oxlade-Chamberlain is out, and as a result, we are going to have to change things around quite a bit. So we have got Milner and Berge in the midfield with Fabinho in the defensive midfield position. Really, I was looking to rest Fabinho today. As you can see, he does need a rest. But the upshot is really playing Pedro Chirivella. And I'm just wondering, looking at his ratings against the under-23 squad, whether we ought to actually do that. And I think we will. I think I am going to play Chirivella because I really don't want to risk Fabinho. Because I can just see that ending in disaster. So we're going to play him as an advanced playmaker. And the three players here, he seems to be the one with the most creativity. So I'm happy to put him in that position. And he's certainly had first team games before, so I'm not too concerned with that. Back line stays the same. Mane is back in his left wing position, although we'll have to come off 75 minutes in because he's lacking in match sharpness slightly. But in such a big game like this, it is tricky to leave a man like Mane out. I never thought I'd have to open a WordPad document and do a cough counter on a FM video. But anyway, yeah, as I've just said, back line, front line's absolutely the same. But I might look to use Balotelli later on if we are struggling. They're using exactly the same formation as us, and I do worry a little bit about some of those players. Harry Billy Winks, I never knew. Dele Alli playing as left winger. Did he play as left winger? I've never known him play as a left winger, but okay, fair enough. And they've got Lucas Moura on the right, of course, Captain Kane up front, and one of our former players, Marko Grujic, number 8, he is on the bench. So sparks might fly. Not exactly the best departure for him for the club, shall we say? Because we did fall out a little bit because I don't think he wants to leave. But Tottenham came with a 30 million bid, and to be quite frank, he wasn't the best player. He was 5th or 6th choice, and I think 30 million for any player who was 5th or 6th choice would be one you'd take straight away. And Chirivella very nearly makes his choice. So much the wiser, really. And lovely ball from Mane to Gomez. Goodness me, 2 brilliant shots within a few seconds of each other there. But as I've just said, Pedro Chirivella nearly making his choice very worthwhile with a beautiful goal. But at number 68, watch out for him because in the games he has played, I do believe he's played very well. He's been a real star in the midfield. Just doesn't play usually because we've got better players in terms of Oxlade-Chamberlain, Henderson and Caterham. Sometimes just get a look in, but at the moment with so many injuries and the fact Fabinho also needs a rest, we've got to look to try and play somebody like Chirivella because ultimately he's got to drop into that. He is quite literally in his contract an emergency backup player, and that's exactly what he is today with no other choices apart from him in the squad. But Lucas Moura, a good shot from him there, and I am worrying a little bit about this game because we are away from home. We haven't got the best record away from home, as you know, and certainly this season we just can't do with another defeat. But Tottenham need a win, we need a win, and ultimately one or maybe even both sides are going to be disappointed here, in my opinion. Not a quick start though for us like it was against Schalke, not really surprising to be honest. After 25 minutes, it is still 0-0. But the one good thing for me is that we've had 4 shots on target compared to only the one for Tottenham. And could this be a chance to take the lead? Milner with the ball into the box to Firmino. It is out. Mane, can he do anything with it? Puts it back to Firmino. Firmino to Berge. Can't really get through. Good defence by Tottenham here. Berge to Laporte. Can Laporte make anything here? Chirivella. Can Chirivella do anything? Puts it back to Gomez. I'd rather him be safe than sorry, to be honest. A great ball from Gomez, but doesn't quite get over the head of Vincent Sanchez. Good pressure put on by our lads, but ultimately Tottenham do get the ball away and potentially start an attack themselves. Dele Alli has beat Joe Gomez there flat, and Sissoko's through on goal. And you have to say, Joe Gomez might have been a little bit of a problem there, and I do worry about that slightly. So we are going to start playing the air defence rather than focusing play down the wings, just to make sure we get it out a little bit more comfortably and just make sure that the defender's a little bit more secure in their roles. But a little bit of a concern there about Joe Gomez being beaten so readily as well by Dele Alli. But hopefully that shouldn't be as much of a concern in the next few minutes. Good ball from Gomez though to Firmino, and Firmino to Salah on the wings. Will he put it into the box? Don't be greedy, Salah. He shoots, and that was the wrong decision ultimately. Sometimes you can be a hero there, but a little bit greedy from Salah, a little bit disappointing in what could have been a good chance. But 16 shots between the two of us. That's now 18 shots before half-time. And nobody has been successful yet. Another highlight just before half-time. A goal here would really crush us. Winks into the box. Good clearance from Sander Berge. And could this be a counter-attack for us? From Salah running down the wing. I hope he puts it into Firmino, but I just don't think he will. Salah shoots. Silly decision. I mean, he gets a corner out of it. And I think Lloris a little bit silly there. A little bit gullible. To go and save that because he didn't need to. It's going to go wide of the post. But at the moment, we do have a point, as it stands. We're the only game playing, of course. It is the early kick-off, so don't worry about the rest of the table. I'm going to say I'm far from pleased with what I've seen from the team, because I don't think we have played well enough. The chances we've had and the way we've played hasn't really been good enough, both at the back. I think we've been a little bit weak at the back. And up front, we've got to be more clinical, as I said, against Schalke. But a good ball from Laporte, a good creative ball from Laporte up the pitch, but unfortunately on that occasion didn't really work. And hopefully we don't come to rue that ball. But a lovely ball from their defender. But Van Dijk, because really of that low defensive line, that has worked straight in. A lovely ball from Berge to Mane. Now can we just use it? Our defenders are doing such good work. We're making the chances, but our attackers just aren't finishing off. That's so instead. Salah with really good work right there to try and get that back in. Got it back to the centre, but ultimately couldn't do much with it. And this just looks like a match that is begging for a goal. It really is begging for a goal. There's chances flying in everywhere. Alisson needs to get this up quicker. He needs to just go. Chiravella, can he make anything out of this? Berge, a little bit of a rushed ball, but luckily we're okay. Robertson, running down the wing. Look at that pace. He beats the Tottenham defender. It looks like it should be Danny Rose, but I don't know. And cuts inside to the Arne. Back to Robertson, a bit more room. Sanchez gets it out for the moment. Milner with a shot! James Milner! You can always rely on Milner. What a finish that is. An assist for Pedro Chiravella. I mean, it's the most tame assist possible, really. Just a little bit of a tap. From him. I'm going to have a look at the number 3. It's Castagna at number 3. But look at this. Robertson puts it in. Defensive Sanchez gets it out. It was a good assist. But I think the goal was a bit better. Look at this. A lovely volley from James Milner. I think he's 34, if not 35. Turns 35 in January. And he's still got it. Anybody who said he should have gone in the summer, that is proof that he should have stayed at the club. What a lovely finish that is. And sometimes it takes something as bonkers as that. A beautiful 30-yard volley from James Milner to break the deadlock. And that's exactly what's happened here at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. What we're going to try and avoid now is Tottenham getting into that. But what we're going to do, I said I wanted to use Balotelli, and that's what we're going to use. We're going to bring Balotelli on for Firmino. Really, it has to be said, hasn't offered too much today. And we're also going to bring Omar on for Joe Gomez, who seems to have struggled a little bit. We're going to put Omar as a defensive wing back, just to make sure he does stay back. Admittedly, a player with not the most pace, but I think his defensive acumen speaks for itself. So hopefully it's not a bad decision to bring Omar on and he makes a mistake which leads to a goal, for example. But with 15 minutes to go, the only thing that separates us, it seems, is that goal, that thunder goal from James Milner. But Chiravella with a good ball hoofed up the pitch to the sole man, it seems, up there, Mario Balotelli. But it's straight back to Tottenham. But Omar wins that quite nicely. Don't make a mistake now, mate. Good ball from Berge to Chiravella. Can Chiravella make a real impact? Let's see. Chiravella loses the ball to Sessegnon. That's not the best thing to see from our youngster. And Harry Kane's now one-on-one with the keeper. But a good block from Virgil van Dijk. But they do get another chance. Lucas Moura into the box for Dele Alli. And a good save from Alisson. We're going to tell our lads just to concentrate. We've got 15 minutes to hold out here. We're going to retain our attacking responsibilities on positive, but we're also going to try and make sure that we do tighten up at the back a little bit. We're going to go to a little bit of sorry, pardon me, I'm going to keep that one in there for a bit of behind the scenes footage. We're going to go a bit more of shorter passing, being a little bit more disciplined in terms of our creative freedom, and yeah, I don't think we quite need to be as urgent in terms of our pressing. This is a really important result to try and get here against Tottenham, and hopefully for a few minutes to go we will get it. I call that quite a talent, actually. We did manage to cough 86 minutes in the Schalke game, and also 86 minutes in this game. And I said this was the sort of game that would be begging for a goal. After 44 shots, there was only one of them that was successful, and it took a lot to beat these two goalkeepers. You have to credit the goalkeepers, but James Milner has managed to get the goal, which has beat Tottenham by 1-0. And title-winning sides, unfortunately, sometimes have to get wins when that sort of thing happens, and that's exactly what we've done today, and that is absolutely delightful. What we're going to do, we're just going to fast forward to the end of the game weekend so you guys can see what the Premier League looks like 6 games in, and then I'll reveal who we're playing in the next episode. Well, I think after that blip of losing 2 games, we're looking pretty good. We are outside the top 6, but that's really good form really for the teams that have started well as well. Chelsea and Manchester United still the 2 unbeaten sides. With Tottenham really down there in 16th. That is a bit of a shocker. From then, you can see the results from Sunday. But in terms of Saturday, Arsenal dropped 2 points. Their second bout of points dropped of the season against Burnley. Chelsea beat Fulham by 5-0. Leeds beaten 4-0 by Brighton. Really not a good start at all for Fulham, nor Leeds back in the top flight as well. With Wolves losing to West Ham and Man City, our big title rivals, I think it's fair to say, winning 3-0 at Southampton. So 6 games in, we're just outside the top 6. Pardon me. Bournemouth and Leicester have got off to a good start. Leicester being the team that we play next in the Premier League. So that'll be interesting. But there's a real disparity, as you can see, between the teams that have started well, maybe even up to Everton, you can argue, to the teams that haven't. I mean, there's 5 teams really struggling. As you can see, Southampton, Fulham and Leeds all lost their first 6 games. Wouldn't mind playing them 3 in the next 3 games. But unfortunately, we can't do. Norwich also struggling. I mean, in normal seasons, you would be in the bottom 3 with only 3 points from 6. But because the other teams have started so badly, that is not the case. And Tottenham being down there is an absolute shocker. And even though Jurgen Klopp is a manager that's not been there too long, I think that he might well be sacked fairly soon, because he's not going to cut the mustard, is he, unfortunately, if he's only getting those sort of points. And I think he does play Arsenal next weekend as well. So a loss against Arsenal, and they've got Man City in a few weeks' time, and Burnley have started well as well. They could quite convincingly lose those 3 games, and 5 points after 9 games. Even 8 points after 9 games, you can argue, is a little bit of a weak start if they get a point from each of those. West Brom started well, as the only promoted team so far to get any points, funnily enough. But it is a long season. There's certainly time to go. Chelsea really the big scorers. They've played Fulham and West Ham so far, and Crystal Palace. Quite an easy start for them. But crucially, drawing the 2 big games they've played against Manchester United and Tottenham. Man City have not really beat anybody convincing. Leicester, same really goes for them. Arsenal have beat Man City, so that's a convincing win. But I'd argue that nobody's really been that convincing so far. There's been a lot of draws in the Premier League. That's one thing to note. But I don't think anyone's done anything too convincing so far. So I think it's our time, after those 2 defeats, to really stand up and stand out from the crowd, really. So in the next episode, we're not going to play Leicester. I'd like to play Leicester, because that is a fairly big game, playing 3rd in the league. But the next 2 games look more attractive to me. We're going to play against Barcelona at Camp Nou. We're also going to go away to Stamford Bridge. It could be 2nd against 3rd, potentially. I don't think it will be if we play Leicester and beat Leicester. We've got to be pretty lucky to jump all the way up to 2nd. We could be ahead of Chelsea, I suppose, by the time that game comes around. It's certainly a very interesting episode. And then we'll have probably a few games off. If you look at Palace, or, we'll probably come back for Man United and, Celtic and United, or United and Schalke. Fingers crossed. I'd like to qualify from the group in the Schalke game. But I think that Barcelona game will have a big dependence on whether we will qualify from the group in the 5th game, or arguably qualify from the group at all. So thank you very much for watching, folks. I'd love to see 10 likes on an episode, so leave a like if you did enjoy. As I say, the more likes we get really pushes up the search rankings and really helps this video out. And I do apologise for there being a bit of a lack of content over the last few days, and you can probably tell the cold still in my voice, but hopefully it gets out of my system in the next few days. But as I said, if you've enjoyed, leave a like, comment down below, and subscribe for regular FM20 content. But until the next time, thank you very much for watching today, and I'll see you guys later. Goodbye for now.